Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I'm going to be doing a tier list on post-Phantom Nightmare meta, and also before we hop in, I am going to be doing a giveaway for a SP Little Knight. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is like the video, subscribe, and comment down below anything, and you will be entered into win a SP Little Knight. And alright, let's go ahead and hop right into the tier list now. So, with the first deck, we have Vanadium. Okay, so this is, post-Phantom Nightmare. Vanadium's not the greatest. It's probably, like, down here. Probably near, like, the top of this. Then we have Rika. Rika would probably also be down here. Do I put it behind Vanadium or in front of Vanadium? I feel like it'd probably be behind the Vanadium. Which doesn't, well, okay, for US, for European, it's up there. But for US, it's probably down there. Then we have Pure Snake Eye. Pure Snake Eye is definitely, like, up there as one of the best decks, for sure. Like, obviously, like, the deck is just so good. It plays a lot of non-engine, has a strong engine, gets to play all the fire stuff. The Snake Eye cards are broken, they give you infinite bodies. Princess is really good. It's an extender, interruption. Okay, next we have Virtual World. To be honest, this probably goes all the way down here. Cause, like, Virtual World is kind of horrible. I'm not gonna lie. Especially in a format like this where a lot of people are playing a lot of non-engine. Like, it's just not gonna work. Like, maybe if people switch away from hand traps and go towards more board breakers, but even then it's like, how does Virtual World, like, ever go second into a fire deck? I feel like it's just going to be so hard most of the time for them to go second. And, I mean, sure, decks can go first and do well, like, sure, but, going second's going to be really tough, like, every single time. Then this is the Fur Hire Runic Sprite deck. Now, this deck, honestly, where do I want to put it? Because I almost want to put it above these two, but at the same time, like, I feel like this deck kind of just gets rolled by, like, the Fire King Snake Eye and Snake Eye stuff, which is going to be kind of rough for it, but I also kind of want to put it ahead of it. That's rough. That's rough. Honestly, I'll skip over that one for now. And then we'll get back to it. Chimera. I don't think this deck's very good right now. It's not great. I mean, sure, you could play a bunch of hand traps, and sure, you can, like, set up the turn 1 end board, which is, like, solid, but it's honestly not even, like, too crazy. Going second, like, you do have a bunch of hand traps. The engine's rather weak, though. There's going to be a lot of people on Imperm, Veiler, Ash Blossom, and those cards, hurt this deck pretty bad. You can play stuff like Fusion Deployment to go up into Cartesia, and then Cartesia can protect the Berfoment that you bring off of Sword Knight. Maybe you play a small Chimera package and a big branded package, so that way you can, play through the hand traps a lot more often, and you can still get to this stuff off of, like, a branded Fusion Dump Gazelle. Pearly, I think Pearly deserves to be up here. Pearly can play stuff like Shifter, probably not in the main deck, you'd probably more, like, side deck it, but you could main deck it if you wanted to, because if you go first and draw it, you can discard it off a Pearly spell. If you go second, you can Shifter the opponent, but you definitely play it in the side deck at least. It can play stuff like D-Fissure in the side deck. You can play Summon Limit, you still have New War. You probably want to have multiple traps somewhere in the list, like maybe main deck 1, side deck 2, main deck 2, side deck the 3rd or something, so that way Pearly hits more often and you, like, guarantee get to New War. There's also going to be, like I said, a lot of hand traps in this format, so you're going to get hand trapped more in this upcoming format than you are right now. Then, okay, we have, also, the deck can play Droll and stuff too, but every deck can really play Droll besides Flounderies. Flounderies, it can play Droll, it just has a harder time with it, because if you, like, go first with Droll in your hand, it's not very good. because you have to draw the opponent, and then the draw also hurts you. But if you go second, you can draw the opponent, and that's fine. But Flounderies, this deck can play Shifter, this deck can play D-Fissure, this deck can play Harpy's Featherstorm. There are going to be a lot of hand traps in the format, and like I said, Ash, Imperm, Veiler, Droll, like all these things are going to be really popular, which is all just going to hurt Flounderies. So this deck probably should be definitely not in C, but probably down here near B, and maybe you just put it above. I kind of want to put it above this too, I'm not gonna lie, because I do think it's probably just better than Vanadium. Okay, yeah, so put that down there. And then this is Runic Stun. Runic Stun is gonna go down here. Oh wait, maybe it should go back. That kind of hurts. Like, the floodgates got hit down the 1. Obviously not all the floodgates, but some of the floodgates definitely got hit down the 1. Sky Crisis was a huge boost for this deck because you can just summon that card freely pretty much every single turn. But overall, the Runic deck just isn't that great. Going second isn't the easiest with it, but also like a lot of people's end boards, they don't have like they have interruptions, but they have like pops set up, and like Kieran pop is decent, but like you can Hugin protect, but like I guess I don't know, it's gonna kind of hurt. Yeah, because there's gonna be a lot of people playing the Fire King stuff. You won't be able to play stuff like I don't know. Maybe I should put it up to bottom of B, but it's just not that good overall. The deck actually was low-key a sleeper a couple months ago, but probably not right now. Unchained. Okay, this is Post Phantom Nightmare. Unchained probably will go. Let's see. Droll's also. You gotta think, like. Probably here. I think behind Flounderies, because this deck can play a bunch of the good cards. And then Unchained is gonna have kind of a hard time trying to break the board of any fire deck. But at the same time, like, this deck can play through hand traps pretty well. I did see someone playing the Brave version of this deck the other day. So, like, maybe you can do stuff like that that will help you from against hand traps. But they weren't playing Griffin, so, like, does it really help you against hand traps? Maybe, like, a little bit, just because, like, blank bodies, extenders. But then going second, it doesn't really help, so you probably have to cut the Brave stuff going into Post Phantom Nightmare. I don't know. I think Unchained's fine right now in current format, but I don't think Post Phantom Nightmare is gonna be that good. It's just really tough because you're comparing these decks compared to like the decks with Snake Eye cards in it, right? And like the Snake Eye cards are just so good. Like if you play with them, like even if you go like summon Ash, affect search Populous, and they draw you, right? Which like a lot of people say is like the best hand trap against it, besides Shifter. The best like hand trap that a lot of decks can play is Droll, according to most people. And like even in that spot, you can still get multiple interruptions off of one card versus one hand trap. Now, if you go normal summon Snake Eye Ash, affecting the impermanent, sure. If you don't have anything else, it's pass. But yeah, it's just rough. Okay, Cash Tira, this is another deck. I think this actually probably deserves to be like bottom of A. The deck can play Shifter, can play DeFi, can make a pretty good first turn board. You can go like Heat Soul Draw, go into Appaloosa, and then try to combo underneath of it. Or you could go into just like leave Heat Soul on field, go into IP underneath of that. And then you have like SP set up. And then you also have like another Heat Soul Draw to try to draw into more hand traps. This deck can play tons of hand traps. Then we have Orcust. Oh man, Orcust is not that good. Orcust is probably like very bottom of B. There are multiple builds of Orcust too, but I feel like overall bottom of B. I mean, there's like the Horus stuff, there's the Runic build, there's the Bestial build. Like there's definitely different builds of it, but it's just not good. Its end board also doesn't feel good enough. Going second, again, it's just one of the decks that's gonna struggle going second. Going first isn't like that hard for some of these decks. Like, even like Virtual World going first, like, the deck can set up FTK with Beatrice. Like, Beatrice is just an auto win. But, first of all, you have to get to Beatrice through all the hand traps, and then you have to be able to go second, and going second's not going to be easy. The Fire King deck. Okay, so this is actually probably the hardest one I've had to decide yet, because obviously it's up here, but is it ahead of Pure Snake Eye, or is it behind Pure Snake Eye? Personally, right now, I would say it's ahead, but I do need more testing with the Pure Snake Eye deck. Honestly, it's more along the lines of, like, I've been playing the Fire King Snake Eye stuff, and, like, I just been hating the Fire King cards. They just, a lot of them just don't feel good to draw. Like, you'll have, like, an Arvata in hand, and it's like, okay, sure, does my Snake Eye stuff go through, so that way I get to my Ponix, that way I get the island. Or, like, Runix is not good, Kieran is, like, decent, right? Can help you dodge, like, Imperm Veiler, can act as, like, a called by there. Or, again, like, does my Snake Eye stuff go through, so I get to my Fire King stuff. So, I don't know, it's a little bit weird, but, like, it does have, like, another engine that can work well in it, and, like, this deck, it's so rough, because also I've seen, like, recently, like, there was, like, the Sky Strikers stuff that was being played in the Snake Eye deck, which, like, you know, I'm very intrigued into that, and I definitely want to try that out, and, you know, just not play hand traps, and just play, you know, a bunch of spells in the deck with the Snake Eye stuff, and then that also helps you dodge stuff like Talons, which everyone's playing 3 of, so it's like, I don't know, I definitely need more testing with this, but I'd say right now, this is where I'd put it. I'd put this ahead of this, but that might end up changing. Labyrinth, I feel like Labyrinth probably deserves to be, like, in A, like, down here. Like, the deck's not super horrible. It's just people are very prepared for it right now. Ash in the main deck, Bell in the side deck, maybe a Soul Release. You know, Soul Release isn't, like, the worst thing ever for Labyrinth. The deck can DDG people, and DDG can definitely just, like, skip turns. Different Dimension Ground, if you don't know what DDG stands for. But yeah, that can, like, skip turns. I know, like, the deck just got Transaction Rollback. I don't think that card's actually going to be, like, that great in the deck. I think, you know, you could play, like, you know, lower copies of it, because a lot of what people have is they're just drawing, like, Transaction Rollback going second, and, like, they're not having any furniture with it either, and it's like, oh, okay, this is pretty much just a brick. And, like, then your deck also has other cards that can, like, kind of act as, like, bricks. Then also, if you're playing the Unchained stuff in it, those can also act as bricks. And, like, I don't know, it's like, it's awkward. It's awkward, but it does suck that, like, you know, a lot of people are playing Bell on the side deck, so they pretty much have, like, 6 Ash Blossoms against you. And obviously, you can, like, attempt to play around it if you can get, like, Welcome set up. Also, more people are going for Babushka now, because more and more people are playing the Ariane combo. Babushka isn't, like, the worst thing ever. People can SP out it, but you can also try to stop them from getting the SP with stuff like the Labyrinth Field spell, or trap cards, or Big Welcome in Graveyard, which you will have in Graveyard. That means you're not activating it, which is, like, fine if you have Babushka. You can bring back Babushka with Field spell. Dragon Link. Oh, Dragon Link is not that good. It's not that good, to be honest. It's probably, I kind of want to put it below Rika. I feel like people are sleeping on Rika. Like, okay, I do think Rika's not that great, but, like, at the same time, Rika didn't get hit that hard. Like, Dryad's the one, Healer the one. You might be like, oh, you can't combo anymore, but, like, that's still one card full combo. Like, it's not done exactly the same, because, you know, you have less Dryads and less Healer, but it's still full combo with just one Loki. So, like, it's pretty much, like, the same thing as it was before. Actually, you, like, get one more extra deck spot for free. But, you know, I mean, Dryads was good to have an extra deck. Also, just as, like, you know, follow up to, you could, like, attack into something, summon out a healer, you know, now you have an extra body. So, you know, the hit definitely hurts somewhat, but not that bad. Now we have Silent Force, or Voiceless Voice. So, this deck, I kind of want to put it below Pearly. Like, This deck isn't bad. I think this deck's also getting a lot of wins currently in post-Phantom Nightmare gameplay because people don't know how to play against it very well. I think once people get more and more testing against it, the deck actually just gets worse and worse. So, yeah, it's rough. And more people are playing the Selene access code line also in their decks. Like, a lot of people have started putting Selene access code in their decks, and that's really good against the deck also. World C being able to set their monsters back to their field is very good to know too. People are just going to learn what the cards do more and more. They're going to learn that you can like also Bell Queen effect in the hand to discard, dump, and add, because it can also add back from graveyard. You can Bell pre-prep. So, there's going to start being like, people are going to realize how to hand trap the deck better also, not just learning how to break the end boards better too. So the deck's definitely going to hurt from that. But I think it's probably still up here. The deck is solid if you can get the combo to go through, and the deck can play through one hand trap most of the time and still end on multiple interruptions. Exo Sister, oh god no, this deck really is like, it's probably like here, because the deck can play Shifter, but at the same time, the engine is just so horrible right now. Like, there's just no shot that Exo Sister is like ever winning a game going second where like it doesn't draw Shifter, right? Even if you draw like strong engine, the engine itself just isn't that strong. Like, you could draw like Pax, Martha, Aritama, and you're still not pushing through like an IP Princess, right? Or maybe that pushes through IP Princess. I don't want to think about it too much, but yeah, it probably doesn't even push through IP Princess because that's IP in the SP banish, Princess pop. Like, that's good, and also that doesn't even count, like, or it doesn't even like take into factor like if they're playing the Fire King stuff, like Runix will activate in the Kieran can go dump, summon back out. Maybe you have Arvata, that's another interruption. Obviously you're gonna have to try to hand trap them to stop them from getting to the full end board. The deck can't play stuff like Super Poly either because of how Martha is, which maybe could have helped them because it also would have summoned like a level 4 Mud Dragon. Branded, okay. Where do I put Branded? I want to put it in A. It's going to go in A. I just don't know where exactly in A. Maybe it goes like right here. Like, everyone's playing 3 Ash. People have talked about cutting it. Even I ended up cutting it from my deck at one point. And, like from the main deck at least, I'm still iffy on it. Just because like Ash is such a weird card because people can Hida take it and then go up into like Princess and then keep comboing. But also like Ash Blossom is good against like every single deck that's not a Hida deck. But also there's going to be a lot of decks that are playing Hida, especially if you go to like, like YCS Vegas, like as an example. Like, you can confidently say most of the decks you're going to play against are going to be fire decks because they are just simply better than the other decks. Just simple as that. Vanquish Soul. Oh, this deck is not good. This deck is a Shifter deck. I'd probably put it above Exo. But actually, do I put it above Exo? I don't know. This deck is not good at all. This deck is not good at all. Yeah, I might actually put it behind Exo. Like, because even going first, the deck isn't, like, the thing is, here's the thing, right? Is you have to play a lot of consistency cards in the deck to make sure that, your deck's consistent. But you can't afford to do that in the upcoming format because then you won't be able to go second. And so then you have to cut the consistency and then play the hand traps. But then there's also a lot of hand traps in the format, so now you're playing less engine. Other people are playing more hand traps, so now you're getting stopped more often. And like, just nothing in this deck seems like it's gonna work. Nothing in this deck seems like it's gonna work. Rescue Ace. Yeah, I think Rescue Ace deserves to be up here. I think those 3 are very, very good. Some people keep saying like, oh, Rescue Ace isn't gonna be that great, but I think the deck's still very solid overall. I think the deck's still very solid. It doesn't get to play the Snake Eye stuff like the other thing, like these decks do. Well, it still gets to play like Populous and Bonfire and Original and Black Witch and Wanted, but it doesn't play like Snake Eye Ash and Flame Burgeon stuff and Oak and everything like that. So it doesn't get like all the extra stuff that these are getting. The deck also has Princess that can summon back. That's really good. It helps protect Turbulence a lot more, because if you go SP Turbulence, they can't even Imperm Turbulence at any time. Because if they Imperm Turbulence in response to the effect, you SP tag out. If they do it on summon, you just go, okay, sure, Princess, summon back out Turbulence, effect. So now they have to have, like, multiples. Honestly, people are just going to try to Imperm you early on in your combos most of the time, and just pray that you can't get to, like, that point. Sprite. Okay, like pure Sprite. I mean, this deck can definitely play Shifter, for sure. I have seen people recently, they play the E-Telly with the Mutants. I think that stuff's actually good for the deck. Like, very, very good, because E-Telly's a really good card. Gives you the level 2 searches for the level 1 special summons itself out. So that's like a free sprint without even using, like, the normal summon or anything, which I think is really good for the deck. And the deck also plays through hand traps well. Like, even if you get hand trapped, like, the deck's still gonna play through it a majority of the time. Interesting. I don't think the deck's, like, that good, but it definitely has, you know, some advantages over some of these other decks. So maybe the deck goes, like, here? Maybe even goes above Flounderies. I actually haven't even thought about Pure Sprite post Phantom Nightmare until, like, right now, actually. So maybe it even goes, like, above that? And maybe it's, like, just the top of the B? Yeah, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Tearlament. So, yeah, Tier's gonna struggle. Like, the deck just can't play hand traps, so people are gonna be able to combo on the deck pretty freely. Appaloosa could end up being made against this deck. Appaloosa's good against Tearlament. The deck does get to play Super Poly, and Super Poly on the Mud Dragon Call Fire will stop the opponent from being able to activate Princess on anything, because they have to target a fire they control, and Mud Dragon stops, so that's good for the deck. The deck can play Duel. We saw Paulo play the deck with Duel, and they were also playing Selene in the extra deck. But I don't think it's going to be Tearlament's time. Maybe this... Oh, it feels so wrong to put Tear so low. Like, I don't think it belongs... Okay, hold on. Because I also need to test the transaction rollback more in this deck, because a lot of people have been playing, like, transaction rollback, Needlebug Nest, other things like that. So, like, maybe that helps the deck out a lot. But even then, it feels like that just doesn't help. Like, does it help the deck go second? I guess if you can get the million to start going, but again, people are gonna, like, set up Appo on you. I guess you can have talents to try to beat Appo. You know, people are gonna not play. I mean, there's gonna be a decent amount of shifter in the format for sure, also, which is gonna hurt this deck. Okay, yeah, I'll put it down here. It just feels wrong. It does feel wrong, but okay, put that down there. Centauron, so this deck can play a bunch of hand traps in the deck, like infinite hand traps if you want to. It's solid going first. I wouldn't say it's really good going first, but it is solid going first. You can Calamities the opponent. There is a decent amount of people that also are playing Cosmic in their side decks in this format, because you can also hit Island and stuff. So that's going to hurt Centauron a lot, because they're not going to be able to Calamities through Cosmic a majority of the time. They do get the side deck stuff like Judgment to try to stop that. And I know you could say, like, oh, the Centauron counter trap, but realistically, you're not even getting to that a lot of the time. You know, it's not like we have the new Synchro out post Phantom Nightmare. And then also, even if we did, if they just go, like, draw phase, Cosmic Cyclone on stand-up or something, or if you go, like, Primera, Trudia, summon, and then, like, Primera 1, stand-up 2, if they go, like, Cosmic 3, target field spell, then, like, what do? You can't counter trap it because you don't have anything in the spell and trap zone. So, like, that's just gonna hurt, and that's gonna stop the Calamities, and if you're not dropping Calamities, then the end board's just rather weak, and then it's just hand traps at that point, really, and then follow up. So, this deck is pretty low right now. It's probably above the tier deck, because of how many going second cards it can play. And then, okay, now I'll judge this one. So, the Runic Fur Hire, yeah, I feel like it's easier to judge this now that I have this more built out. then I have like an easier place to put it. So this deck, it does struggle. Definitely does struggle. It can't play too many hand traps. The runic cards are like decent going second. We've also noticed that more and more Fire King players, like they get rid of Sanctuary almost every single time, which is really good for runic destruction to be able to pop Island to wipe the board away. So that's good for them. But like overall, it's not that good. It's not that good. I think I'd probably put it like, do I put it below Pure Sprite? It probably is below Pure Sprite. Huh. Wait. Maybe I put Centauron above Flounderies. That also just feels wrong, though. Because Flounderies, like, is a lot more solid in this deck overall. But also, Flounderies just gets hurt so hard by the stuff that's in the format right now. Maybe it is just right to put that one lower. And then take this and put it, like, above the Flounderies deck. I kind of want to put it behind the Flounderies deck too. Can't play as many like strong blowout cards as Flounderies can. Then we have the Runic Bestial branded deck. This deck is not that good at all post Phantom Nightmare. Like if you can go first and you can set up like the Dispatter, Baron, SP, Regain, Fountain, Runic spell setup, and then sure. Like, that's solid, but you, like, have to set that up. Like, you have to set that up, like, pretty much every single time when you go first. And then, you know, once again, it's like the other Runic decks. When you go second, you're just not going to have enough hand traps. And, like, the Runic spells are decent at breaking boards, but they're not, like, too crazy. And then also, like, the Bestials pretty much are losing, like, all of their value against these decks. They are pretty mid, very, very mid against these decks. Obviously, the Bestials, it's like a bonus if it works against the opponent's deck, because the Bestials are still good, but like, it's very nice to have them as like bonus being good against other people's decks, for sure. But, okay, so probably put this definitely goes like above the Fur Hire build, though, I would think. Yeah, I would think it probably goes above the Fur Hire build. And then we have Goatee. Yeah, Goatee's just not going to work. It's just not going to do it. This deck can also play Shifter, which is cool. So maybe put this like down here. Hold on. I kind of want to put Virtual World above this, though. Ah, that feels wrong. I feel like all these decks are probably just like equally not as good. Yeah, I feel like they're just like all equally not as good as each other. They all have like their own problems. But okay, yeah, that's going to be it for the tier list. You know, if you agree with me on some of these, nice. If you disagree with me, you know, comment down below what you disagree with. Also, hold on. So that's the tier list right there. That's the final run. Take the screenshot. Okay, now for the people who are going to skip to the end, because I know it always happens, let me mess with it, so that way they're like, oh my gosh, that's so wrong. So if you see a comment that's like, why would you put Voiceless Voice up there? That's because I just want to mess with people. So let me go ahead and do this real quick. Okay. Let me hit one of these. Let me move that. Move over. There we go. Okay, maybe put that up there. Okay. Just because I want to mess with people a bunch and see if people skip to the end and say like, oh, you put Voiceless Voice to the top. But okay. Yeah, let me go ahead, do that. Do one of those. Up, down, down. Alright. With that being said, again, if you want to enter the SP Little Knight giveaway, all you have to do is like the video, comment anything down below, and be subscribed, and you will be entered into the giveaway for the SP Little Knight, and that will end in 3 days. The winner gets pinned down below at the top of the description. If your comment is not pinned, you did not win. Do not get scammed, please. So many people get scammed every time I do giveaways, so don't get scammed. It's very simple. If your comment is not pinned, you did not win. And also, I'll never make anyone pay for shipping ever, so you never have to pay anything if you win a giveaway. So if they're asking for your info, like payment info, don't do it. But alright, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace, have a nice day, stay safe.